for democracy, not only in India or Asia. And also, I'm very happy for this opportunity because ADN, Asia Democracy Network, the first time we are having meeting in India and South Asia. We used to have a meeting in Seoul. ADN was created October 2013, and then we had a meeting in Singapore and Bangkok and Taipei. Now we are in South Asia. So I'm extremely happy about this opportunity to strengthen the democracy, not only South Asia and also whole Asia together. As you may know, there is a brochure outside. The motto of ADN is defending and promoting democracy together. One of our key values is democracy is universally recognized value. It's not Western value, it's our own valuation. So main spirit of ADN is to create a democracy, strengthen democracy among Asians in partnership with the global community who share the same values. George mentioned about 23rd of March in Indian context, but I want to broaden the context of 2015, not only 23rd of March. As you may know, 2015 is 800th anniversary of Magna Carta, as we discussed yesterday during our steering committee meeting. So human rights goes back to 800 years. Of course, in Asian history, even go back to more than 1,000 years. Second, also 70th anniversary of end of World War II, which means foundation of United Nations, and also which means liberation of many Asian countries around that time, South Korea, India, Indonesia, many countries in Asia, which means also beginning of nation building, if not national democracy. So I think it's very symbolic. It is time for us to revisit 70 years history of nation building from the democracy perspective. And one more, 2015, for development community, it is time of paradigm shift. As you may know, MDG, Millennium Development Goal, which was created in the year 2000, is coming to an end. And then international community around the UN, now we are discussing the new goal, temporarily known as SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So we are having this conference in this historical context, human rights, development, and democracy. I hope we can deepen our reflection on this strengthening democracy in Asia, inclusion, participation, and right in this historical context. And one more, I think the theme is very relevant for ADN and also many democracy advocates in Asia today, because inclusion, participation, right are three core values and guiding principles of democracy movement in Asia, especially the right, which means human rights-based approach. So once again, I want to stress the importance of combining democracy, human rights, and development, which are the main domain of democracy challenges today. And lastly, I would like to thank, of course, the NED and also Swedish government to support this initiative, which is very important for us. And also, especially, I'm extremely happy to discuss democracy in the presence of His Holiness Dalai Lama, because yesterday also we discussed democracy and religion. Today, religion provides good opportunities, at the same time, huge challenges to democracy in Asia. Various forms of religious extremism and also fundamentalism, how to address those challenges, I think it's a very important emerging challenges. I hope coming 2 days, we can bring our experiences and wisdom together to come up with a very concrete, action-oriented plan for coming years. Once again, warm welcome, and also enjoy today's conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for those valuable words. Now may I invite Ms. Melinda Quintos de Jesus, former steering committee member, World Movement for Democracy, and founding member, ADN. Thank you.
His Holiness, Excellencies, honored guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is in behalf of the World Movement for Democracy that I welcome you to this gathering of kindred spirits. I am proud to have spent 8 years as a member of the steering committee of the WMD, ending my last term in 2012, as my colleagues and I, coming from different parts of the world, welcomed the dramatic changes in Myanmar, even as we saw the gains of the Arab Spring challenged by conflict and division. Democratic practice calls for patience and persistence. It is never easy. The fragile steps taken towards people's freedom and self-rule are only the first steps in a long journey. Even older democracies are confronted by the need to review and to renew their own democracies. Thus, the World Movement for Democracy has its work cut out for its members. With a hard-working secretariat housed by the National Endowment of Democracy in Washington, D.C., the movement is brought to life around the world by its diverse participants. Since 1999, it had convened biennial global assemblies in different parts of the world to present the latest studies and results of research, share experiences of democratic gains as well as crisis, discuss the learning drawn from advocacies and campaigns on various issues. Practitioners, scholars, policymakers, journalists like myself, and funders dedicated to the advancement of democracy have deepened the understanding of the growth in the different kinds of soil where the seeds of freedom and equality are planted. At every stage, activists work to wear down dictators, open up closed societies and authoritarian systems, consolidate emerging democracies, and reform and restore both old and new. Cross-border solidarity grows learning about critical issues, making elections not just free and fair, but also the need to provide meaningful choices for national leaders. The protection not only of human rights, but of its defenders. Countering the culture of impunity, and not the least, the issues of women and of peace. Before the end of my term, the World Movement for Democracy brought together Asian champions to form our own Asian Democracy Network, something that highlights the idea that the 21st century will be Asia's to claim. Someone had described the WMD as a huge movable tent for democracy as principle and practice. But with my own personal experience in that tent, I have expanded that image. It is a welcoming canopy, a sheltering sky for all who can contribute and all who believe that there is much to learn from counterparts who have triumphed in the struggle, as well as those who have suffered the test and trial of the journey. It is good to have this conference in India, which represents a vigorous model of democracy in Asia. Once again, welcome and thank you for your presence.